Hi, I'm Ken Newman, historian for Battleship New Jersey, and today we're on a bit of a road trip. We're here at historic Fort Miles in Cape Henlopen State Park. So, we talked about the types of guns here at Fort Miles. Now, how do you aim them? Well, it starts with actually your eyes. We're here at observation tower number 7, which is one of 11 of them that were here on the Delaware side of the bay, and there were also 4 more that were over on the New Jersey Cape May side. Basically, targeting was done by your eyes. They had something that looked like a telescope called an azimuth, and one of these towers would see the enemy ship out there. They would radio that to plot, and that information would be disseminated out to the other towers. And with their azimuths, they would be able to triangulate where the ship currently is, and then on a plotting table in an armored plotting room, they would have been able to then take all of that information from these towers and plot out where the ship's going to be when the projectile lands there. On Battleship New Jersey, all of this is done by a machine. Here at Fort Miles, all of this math was done by hand. So here on Battleship New Jersey, instead of a plotting table, we have an electromechanical analog computer. In this case, it is a Mark 8 rangekeeper. Instead of getting inputs from your eyes and using your hands to do the trigonometry, this machine is actually figuring out where our ship is, where the enemy ship is, and a bunch of other variables like the Coriolis effect and wind speed and wind direction and all that sort of stuff that is very important to putting a projectile on target. At Fort Miles, the guns themselves aren't moving; they're not going anywhere. It's only the target's moving. So the trigonometry isn't quite as hard to figure out as it would be here when you have 2 objects that are moving and trying to fire projectiles at each other. There's also another variable here, is that the pitch, roll, and yaw of the ship as it's going through the waves. We have another computer called Stable Vertical over here to my left. That's a gyroscope in it, and it also is where the triggers are for the guns. Just like at Fort Miles, we have an observation post way up high, which we call Spot 1. In there, there are men looking through basically a giant pair of binoculars, looking for enemy targets. But we also have radar as well. It's like right up here. This radar is giving you the range of the target. This is also being fed into this machine here as well by turning any of these gears, cogs. It figures out the firing solution and continues to update that as it goes along. So all of this is ridiculously expensive. Battleships were, through most of their time, the most expensive weapon that any nation could ever have. So the Army also spent tons of money on Fort Miles. So why not spend the extra money to get a computer? Well, in reality, Fort Miles was obsolete when they had built it. It was built to protect the U.S. against the battleships of the Kriegsmarine, the German Navy. Most of those, by the time Fort Miles was put into service, fully put into service with all of its armament, most of those were at the bottom of the sea or trapped in, cornered and couldn't get out into the open sea to do any damage anyway. If you'd like to learn more about these machines, we did a video prior to this. We'll put a link somewhere up here on the screen, and you can check that out. Behind me, in this casemate here, there would have been two 12-inch guns. The original purpose for this fort was to protect the Delaware Bay and River from any German incursions from things like U-boats all the way up to battleships like Bismarck and Tirpitz. During World War II, the Delaware Bay and River were very strategically important. There were lots of oil refineries and shipbuilding centers in in Philadelphia and in Delaware. Of course, one of the ships being the ship we're from, New Jersey. So remember to like, share, and subscribe, and check the description down below for ways that you can help support Battleship New Jersey and Fort Miles, and to get more information about both places. There are some links down there in that description. The Battleship New Jersey has received an operational support grant from the New Jersey Department of State.